What's going on there, guys? Back with another one, and I want to talk about this on today as it's going viral. Nick Bosa has tweeted for the first time in 4 years after Ryan Clark has gotten fired, and these guys have a bit of a history. Now, Nick Bosa really made a political statement after their game against the Dallas Cowboys back in 2024, and this is what he did.
Points in the first half. What was said during halftime? Hey. All right. Nick Bosa with a message there.
Some discussion you had a hat on that was not the hat you're currently wearing in the post game. Why did you take that opportunity to make what appeared to be a political statement?
I'm not going to talk too much about it, but I think it's an important time.
Now, after that, you have Ryan Clark addressing it on social media and putting out a video, which we're going to play. But basically, he was saying the shut up and dribble crowd is awfully quiet when something goes in their favor, when an athlete says something that they agree with. But when LeBron James or Colin Kaepernick are making their statements and expressing their freedom, about the political climate in the U.S. and other issues outside of the game, they get told to shut up and dribble. So let's listen to what Ryan Clark had to say.
I think when Nick Bosa shows up in a MAGA hat during Brock Purdy's interview, he knows exactly what he's doing. Never before has sort of partisanship had divided the country in the way that it has. Since 2016, that's been what it is. And when you say make America great again, what was so great about it before? What part of America are you trying to get to? Based on what we're hearing coming out of many of these campaign rallies, there's only one side that truly degrades and speaks negatively of the differences in other people, where they're from, the colors of their skin. There's only one side that does that. And I've worked really hard since 2016 to try to separate the people that support Republicans from the Make America Great Again people, because it was hard for me to believe that you weren't racist, right? And there's a long following of Nick Bosa's tweets where it's a lot of pushback against the culture, which is weird because in the locker room, it's such a melting pot of people where you accept one another's differences. I also think it's sort of ironic, this happens in San Francisco, where Colin Kaepernick legitimately lost his career, not because he said America is a bad place, because he said, I want to make America a better place for people like us. Not because he said that he wants brown and black people to be superior to others, but just equal. He wanted their lives and our lives to matter as much as everyone else's life. The MAGA movement has been very clear that all lives don't matter the same, that all people aren't sort of deserving of the same treatment, of the same compassion, of the same level of life and liberty. And so I do think that the shut up and dribble thing that always is told to the LeBron Jameses when he speaks up against police brutality, to the Colin Kaepernicks when he speaks up against police brutality, to all of these athletes who were involved in movements in 2020, it only seems to go to the athletes that look like us, to the people that are speaking for the marginalized and the minorities as opposed to the majorities. Because when 45 called Colin Kaepernick and other people who kneeled sons of bitches, nobody told him to keep politics out of sports. So it seems very clear to me. Nick Bosa understands that when you wear that hat, you take a side. You take a side of division in a sport that's supposed to bring us together. I'm just waiting for all the people who comment under political and sports things to shut up and dribble or to shut up and play football to tell him to shut up and rush. But they ain't gonna say it because they feel the exact same way he do.
Don't hold your breath.
Bosa was wearing a Make America Great Again shirt
And I think Ryan Clark called out the double standard because nobody chastised Nick Bosa for wearing the Make America Great Again shirt, but people kept saying, keep politics out of sports. So I think Nick Bosa may be hanging on to that moment. Or he had the hat.
This is the tweet that Ryan Clark put out. He said, the shut up and dribble mob hasn't attacked Nick Bosa the same way they did Colin Kaepernick and King James when politics were brought into sports. Nick Bosa's MAGA allegiance is no secret and no one really cares. Still, it's apparent that crashing an interview with a MAGA hat was received differently than black athletes standing up for equality. So his issue with this was essentially Nick Bosa came out and wasn't told to shut up and just play football whenever he came out with his political
We know
allegiance.
it's a double standard.
Yeah.
We know it's a double standard. And this is the thing. We all in here mix up you. I'm mixed, Care Bear mixed, Trey mixed, right?
Facts.
And so it's like, it's perceived. Once Donald Trump became president, if you were wearing the MAGA stuff, it was, oh, you somewhat racist. That's just the perception of it.
Yeah.
Whether you are or you aren't, that was the perception of it. And the NFL was majority African-American players.
Of course.
You have to be cognizant of that.
Yep,
and so when you walk into a locker room wearing that, you basically saying, fuck you to my teammates, what you gonna do? Because that's how it is perceived. And so all Ryan Clark was brought attention to that because when Kaepernick did what he did, and Kaepernick wasn't LeBron James. Kaepernick lost his job. You're not doing that to LeBron if he had done what Kaepernick did. And Joey Bosa was a much better player than what Kaepernick was.
Yeah, Nick.
And so Kaepernick wasn't good enough as a player to stand in the face of what was coming in that storm.
Yeah.
And be standing.
Yeah.
He got blown over in that tornado because he just wasn't big enough to withstand that. But Nick Bosa, really? Like, that bothered you to where you were holding on to this for that long? Some of these dudes, I don't understand what they, because now you got a Fred Warner on your team.
Yeah.
That's the leader of that team. You have a Trent Williams on your team that you're not doing that with them. I don't know. I know Trent, but I don't know him like that. I got to know. I don't understand why guys do this when you have a ton of African American players on you. I would never go into a locker room if I felt it was going to offend anybody on my team, anything that I wore. I wouldn't wear it. I wouldn't wear it because I don't want to get into that. One, when you're a good player on the team, they look at you as being a leader.
Yeah.
Just because you're good. I wouldn't want to do that to them.
Now, here's Nick Bosa's first tweet in 4 years, giving pretty much his stamp of approval that ESPN has cut ties with Ryan Clark when he read that post. And he's been holding this close to his chest like TJ Houshmandzadeh just said. I'll say this. The shut up and dribble thing kind of comes from, or the first person I remember hearing say that is it the Lauren, what's her name? Tammy Lauren or something, that girl. She was the first person I heard say it, and it was about LeBron James. Shut up and dribble. And I always say when these players are coming up, it's framed as they are student athletes with athlete being on the back half of that. And I just want to know what people expect people to do as student athletes, right? They have interests outside of basketball. And that does lean into a perception like, look, you can run fast, you can jump high, entertain us.